Scale has become one of the defining features of modern open-world design. Expansive maps, layered systems, and player-driven exploration are shaping the next wave of releases. Let's dive right in to check them out.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky, a giant cube.
The Cube is a multiplayer RPG shooter built around a giant levitating cube with rotating rows and edges where players take part in online combat, quests, and progression systems alongside others. The game uses MMO structure with shared online play, in-game chat, and large-scale encounters, including enemy groups and powerful bosses. Gameplay combines shooting with RPG elements such as character growth and mission-based objectives, while the cube itself contains an unknown equation that can change the rules governing how the game functions during play.
Did we actually miss it? What if the cube didn't appear, but revealed itself? What if it was always there, and we've only just started to see it?
Light No Fire is a survival and building game that takes place on a fantasy planet described as Earth-sized, where players gather resources, construct structures, and stay alive in harsh conditions. The game supports solo play and online co-op, allowing players to build persistent settlements together or act independently while sharing the same planet. Gameplay is based on survival systems, crafting, construction, and movement across land, sea, and sky, including sailing, riding creatures, and flying mounts, with procedural terrain, varied biomes, enemies, and resources shaping how players progress and interact. Mortal Shell 2 is a standalone action RPG that expands on the original with fast, high-risk combat and deeper weapon systems. Players possess fallen warrior shells found across an interconnected land, each offering distinct abilities and strengths. Combat removes stamina limits, allowing flexible tactics to break enemy posture and land critical strikes. Progression comes from unlocking shell memories, upgrading weapons, and completing combat-heavy areas, including dozens of compact dungeons guarded by hostile enemies.
You're a weapon, child.
I write this letter to you as testimony of my undying love.
Solasta 2 is a turn-based tactical RPG using the SRD 5.2 rule set, where players create and control a party of 4 adventurers in the land of Nioh. Combat relies on positioning, abilities, and dice-based outcomes tied to player decisions. The game includes character creation with multiple classes and ancestries, a level cap during early access, and party-driven quests tied to a growing threat led by Shadwin across mana-infused regions, and tactical encounters shaped by spell, use, and turn order.
She deserves the peace of death.
What an interesting family you must have.
Is that fear I sense? Good.
Stay in the light. Never give in to darkness. Your loving mother, Mahin.
LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is an action-adventure game where players control Batman across Gotham City using LEGO-style characters and environments. Gameplay combines hand-to-hand combat, stealth actions, and detective abilities with free movement by grappling, gliding, and driving Batmobiles and Batcycles. The game allows interaction with missions, crimes, challenges, and landmarks, while playable heroes and villains support story-driven progression through Batman's origins and conflicts with major foes.
Let's get to work.
Who are you?
I think we can help each other. This town deserves a better class of criminal. Good evening, Gotham. Join us in a celebration of absolute chaos!
Someone's gotta step up!
Let's get to the root of the problem.
We don't do that.
Sorry.
Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming. This is my favorite part.
Alkahest is an action-adventure RPG taking place in a medieval land, played from a first-person view with a strong focus on melee combat. Combat uses physical movement, timing, and environmental interaction, letting players push enemies, use objects, and chain attacks. Progression relies on alchemy instead of magic, where ingredients are mixed into potions, oils, or tools that affect combat and situations. Locations include castles, villages, and wilderness areas, with choices influencing reputation and family standing. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a dark fantasy action RPG in 14th century Europe, where players control Cohen, human by day and vampire by night. Gameplay shifts between daytime and nighttime systems, offering different abilities, combat styles, and movement options. Player actions affect story events, character relationships, and the passage of time, creating pressure when choosing quests. Combat supports swordplay, magic, and supernatural powers, while progression depends on decisions made to protect family or pursue revenge.
They came to rule. To turn us into mindless, docile cattle. Not me, though. They tried to change me into one of them. But I became something else instead. Their worst nightmare. A Dawnwalker. Trapped between the two worlds. Fighting to even the score. Fighting to understand the evil behind it all.
He is
Forza Horizon 6 is a racing game set across large regions inspired by Japan, featuring road races, off-road events, and free driving between activities. Players drive more than 550 real-world cars and take part in solo and online modes, including co-op and competitive races. Progression comes from completing events, earning access to new activities, and customizing cars through upgrades, tuning, and visual changes. With shared online spaces supporting social driving and community-made events, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties is a bundled action-adventure release containing a full remake of Yakuza 3 and a separate standalone story. Players control Kazuma Kiryu in street brawler combat with combos, heat actions, and city activities across Okinawa and Tokyo. Dark Ties adds a playable campaign starring Yoshitaka Mine, built around boxing-style combat, side activities, and character progression tied to narrative-driven missions. Both titles use single-player structure and controller-focused controls.
You will sleep through 14 years of flight to your new home on Caesarea.
Subnautica 2 is an underwater survival game on a new alien ocean planet, playable, solo, or in online co-op with up to 4 players. Gameplay involves gathering resources, crafting tools, vehicles, and submersibles, and building customizable bases. Players scan creatures, study life forms, and adapt through new systems tied to survival. Progress depends on managing oxygen, depth, and threats, while moving through varied biomes and deeper waters that introduce increasing risk.
I trust you'll be able to rid us of this crucible.
Nioh 3 is a dark samurai action RPG where players fight yokai using 2 combat styles that can switch during battle. Samurai style uses direct weapon strikes, stances, and timing, while ninja style relies on speed, mobility, and special techniques. Combat takes place across large connected areas with enemies and bosses. Progression comes from gear, skills, and mastery of mechanics, with solo play and optional online co-op supporting challenging encounters.
None shall interfere with my course! Become a spirit stone!
Save Birmingham is a survival game set in a recreated 14th century town overrun by the undead, played entirely in single player. Gameplay revolves around managing hunger, fatigue, and safety, while gathering supplies, crafting tools, and using physics-driven interactions. Players barricade buildings, manipulate objects, and fight or evade zombies using the environment. Survival depends on careful movement, resource planning, and adapting to constant threats within a detailed medieval setting.
Thou shalt not kill.
Chronicles Medieval is a medieval sandbox game where players create a character and rise through combat, strategy, and control of territory. Gameplay combines direct melee fighting with large-scale battles where troops are recruited, trained, and commanded. Players can build castles, manage resources, and take part in sieges while shaping power through conflict and diplomacy. Both single-player and online co-op support shared battles, allowing players to fight alongside allies in dynamic medieval conflicts.
I became like them. I took up the sword, prayed I could win redemption through my deeds. But some paths, once taken, have only one ending. I shall find no peace. On this road, there is only death. But that's just my story. Go write your own.
The great Silkovsky once said,
Atomic Heart 2 is an action-adventure RPG that takes place in an alternate history retro-futuristic setting, with events unfolding on a global scale. Gameplay combines shooting, melee combat, and RPG systems, allowing players to use weapons and glove abilities at the same time. Progression includes character development, combat upgrades, and player choice-driven activities. The game builds on story continuity, introduces new characters, and expands player freedom through interconnected locations, missions, and combat encounters.
the dawn of a new era. The era of Atomic Heart 2.
Of Peaks and Tides is an open-world survival and crafting game built around a physics-driven environment that reacts to player actions. Players gather materials, build structures, tame creatures, and survive changing seasons, weather, and large-scale threats. Combat allows direct fighting or using terrain, fire, water, and traps. The game supports solo play and online co-op, with progression shaped through construction, resource management, creature bonding, and rebuilding civilization in a land damaged by past divine conflict.
Today, a new chapter in this land's history shall be written.
Crimson Desert is an open-world action-adventure game taking place on the continent of Pywell, where players control Cliff, a mercenary leader rebuilding his fallen group. Gameplay centers on real-time combat using melee weapons, ranged tools, abilities, and movement skills. Players travel across varied regions, fight enemies and large bosses, gather resources, and use crafting and mounts. Progression comes through combat mastery, equipment upgrades, and story-driven missions tied to factions and regional conflicts.
Let your heart speak without fear.
In the end, all will come together as one.
We fight for the future of all. Sound the horn of our final battle. Fight! Fight for Pywell!
Your fight is not for revenge, nor glory, nor pride.
This is your hell!
Remember who you are, and let it guide your path. For at the end of it, you will find the answers you seek.
The Duskbloods is a PvPvE action RPG built around 8-player online matches in a Gothic Victorian setting. Players select and customize characters through bloodline-based abilities inside a central hub before entering matches. Gameplay mixes fast melee combat, firearms, mobility tools like large jumps, and special powers gained by biting enemies. Each match puts players against AI threats and rival players while competing to claim first blood, with character builds shaping tactics and outcomes.
And transport him to a night of moonlight, to humanity's very dusk.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon to depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
Will flow for one, and one alone.
What you doing up there?
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is an action-adventure game set in the fictional state of Leonida, featuring Vice City and surrounding regions inspired by Florida. Players freely roam a large open map while taking part in missions, criminal activities, and side systems. Gameplay supports driving, shooting, exploration, and character switching, with modern technology and social media satire shaping events. The story centers on Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos, whose crimes trigger wider conflicts, law enforcement pressure, and shifting consequences across the state.
I'm here for Lucia Caminos. She's supposed to be getting out.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I seen you here before.
You might have. Hey.
Hey.
Hands above your head, now!
You stay. The new beginnings.
You make me nervous, isn't it? Trust me, this place is just the start for us.
Ring the bell! Shots ready!
The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got.
Gonna do this, we're doing it right.
Yo, D, this full of fed? They got your name, address, they got everything. Us cops, we gotta protect each other.
Like,
You and me, Lou. You got this.
We got it.
Say my city, baby! My city, baby!
Come to Bill's Ammunition today. We got more guns than the law allows.
Hey.
Hey, if you got friends, can you hook me up, please?
Fable is an open-world action RPG where players control a hero in the land of Albion and shape events through decisions and behavior. Gameplay mixes melee, ranged, and magic combat, with character customization and equipment progression. Players interact with towns, take jobs, manage property, and build relationships. Reputation changes how characters respond and can alter situations, rewards, and conflicts, making personal choices a key system that drives story progression and long-term outcomes.
Flooding and pandemic, access to all external areas is restricted.
The Sinking City 2 is a third-person survival horror game in a flooded version of Arkham during the 1920s. Players move through drowned streets and ruined buildings, managing limited resources while facing hostile creatures inspired by Lovecraftian fiction. Gameplay combines gun combat, inventory management, environmental puzzles, and navigation using boats and on foot. Clues and optional investigations unlock new paths and outcomes, while progression depends on survival planning, combat decisions, and uncovering hidden dangers within the city.